Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there's just 31 days until Christmas 2020. It's busy up here at the North Pole as we get ready for Christmas. It's coming very, very quickly. I think a lot of people are looking forward to 2021, and we're just wrapping up the year, hopefully on a high note, and we can enjoy these last few weeks of the year and start 2021 on an upward trend. So, hey, there's a lot to discuss today. We've got Mando-Monday, new merchandise is coming out. That's already been revealed, so we can take a look at that new merchandise. And as always, on Mondays, I like to do a deep dive into the latest episode of The Mandalorian and really go into some of the detail. And there's quite a bit to unpack today as we're halfway through season number 2 of The Mandalorian with chapter number 12, The Siege. So, Callisto, hey, I've got a couple of pictures printed off. I meant to bring them to show you. Plan to get those in the mail this week. So you should be getting, let me know. I've got a 5x7 or an 8x10. Let me know which one you'd like me to send, and I can get that out to you this week. So there you go. You'll have that in plenty of time for Christmas. So if anybody else out there would like an autographed photo, personalized autographed photo of Santa, let me know. Send me a message, drop me a line. I need your physical mailing address, and you can reach me. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat here. There we go. So there's my email address. If anybody wants to get a personalized photo of Santa, I will be happy to mail that to you, as well as a sticker saying I met Santa Claus with my picture on it. And who knows, I might find a couple other little things to throw in there just to round out the package. So again, let me know. You want a 5x7 or an 8x10 there, Callisto? Mike Porter. Hello, welcome. Lord Vito, you made it over. Great to see you guys. So without further ado, there is a lot to talk about, and let's dive in with chapter 12, The Siege. Of course, a lot of people pointed out a lot of things already. So if you're keeping up with the chat or the discussion in YouTube, you're familiar with a lot of it. But we'll try to throw a couple of extra little nuggets in there today as we go. So I took several screenshots today. Dale, hello. So at the beginning, last week I was on with our weekly show with the Magic Makers. We made our predictions for chapter 12, and we said that we thought it would start off in the first act, not going back to Navarro. And it started off that way. It started off, they were on their way to find Ahsoka, but the Razor Crest is in terrible shape. And he's got the child back in a little compartment way back, but further back than he can reach. And he's trying to give him instructions, put the red wire where the blue wire goes and the blue wire where the red wire goes, so they can get the Razor Crest functional. And comes to say that they ended up touching the wires together, two positives, and he shocked the snot out of himself, short-circuited some stuff. And so rather than go on, they went straight back to Navarro. So that's the deal there. Hey, Mike Porter, yes, we're still doing Jingle Ring, and the classroom full might be kind of difficult to do on Jingle Ring. There's limited capacity. If your wife wants me to do it for her kindergarten class, shoot me an email. We'll work out something on the side that I could do with, say, Zoom, and we can do that with her classroom. It's a better format, I think, than Jingle Ring would be. So shoot me an email there. So they end up having to go back to Navarro anyway. That's not where they had planned. Hey, Reefer Man Reviews. Welcome. Thanks for joining today. Good to see you. So let's get here. Interesting point. Spencer Eblin, hello, welcome. I saw a lot of people talk about maybe the Mando is Din Djarin. Maybe he's lightening his stance on removing the helmet, and he's here. He lifts the helmet, and you see the child kind of peeking up to see what his face might look like underneath the helmet. And I tend to think that I don't know that that's necessarily the case, because had he been loosening up, he might have taken it off. And I don't think that that's in his creed yet. So we'll see. I'm not exactly sure, but thought it was worth discussing that. And then I went ahead and threw in some of the concept art with some of the screenshots as I took them. And this one here is the first one with the concept art in it. And interesting thought about this one, let me make this a little bit bigger for you all, is they've got that little squirrel rodent creature in there. That's going to be lunch. And if you look in the concept art, that thing's spewing fire. The thing's a fire breather. And that wasn't in the scene. So that didn't make it into the actual show. But they were going to eat that little squirrel rodent thing. And at that point, Gina Carano comes in. Cara Dune, who we see, she's been cleaning up Navarro, making it a safer place for everyone. And these folks are hidden out in the old Mandalorian digs than where the armorer was. They're using the armorer's workshop and the kiln there to cook things, to heat things, and that's where they're living. And Cara Dune shows up, and she puts a whooping on him pretty good. Saves the little squirrel-like creature. It comes in. This is one thing I've seen some criticism on, and I think deservedly so. Look, we've gotten used to some very, very high production quality. The effects with the child, especially too, being an animatronic puppet. And this puppet here falls really, really short. It's bad, but at the same time, I can forgive maybe a minor creature that comes along. Just compared to other creatures we've seen scurrying about in the environment, I don't think they pulled this one off very well. They did okay, but it just wasn't up at the same one. Very good. Thanks, Dale. Good to know. So we go on, and Kara is. We learn she is the marshal. So now we've had two marshals. We've got Cobb Vanth, who's a marshal back on Tatooine in his town, and we've got Cara Dune is now a marshal here in the on Navarro. And you can see that the Razor Crest is heavily damaged. It lands the landing platform won't go all the way down. It stops about there, and it's unfolding. And Din has to walk out on it, but he lands, and and of course Grief Karga tells his folks to repair it. And oh, Mike Porter, I told you, spoilers. You were warned. Spoilers. Yeah, the child is a puppet. Yeah. Lord Vito, we'll get into that. Yeah, she's a marshal. They refer to it, and she's done a pretty good job of cleaning up the town. And this character here shows up. Now, right off the bat, you get the impression that this is not a reliable character. I do think we may see this one show up in a cosplay. So one thing that I think The Mandalorian has introduced us to is quite a few characters that people are going to latch onto and cosplay for decades to come. And I think this will certainly be one of them, the way that she's dressed. I had to impress it was a female character. I'm not exactly sure, but the character there is one of the two that are repairing the Razor Crest. And later on, we find out that this character is one who puts a planting device a tracking device on the Razor Crest, which I thought was another great Star Wars thing, right? We know the Falcon had a tracking device on it. We know that it's shown up several different times throughout Star Wars where tracking devices are put on objects that then they're able to track. It was in the prequels with Slave One. We had lots of places. The Mimban, whatever. Yeah. So that's great. So there we go. And let's go on. Oh, and I saw this brought up. Now, for me, the first time I watched this, I didn't even catch IG-11 there in the background, the statue. I saw somebody mention it. I'd watched it twice before I saw somebody mention that it was there. I watched it again, and I don't know how I missed it. They feature this statue in the middle of the town quite prominently in this scene as Den and Kara and Grief are walking into this building, into the school. There's several times, and there's a scene even where it's framed with Mando, Den standing there in that IG-11 standing right next to it. Lord Vito, watching these shows make me want to wear a cape. Or it's a wrap in the Star Wars holiday special. Yes. That's good. Hey, Mark, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. So, again, I don't know how I missed IG-11 the first couple times I watched it. I saw it the third time after I saw it was mentioned. And you see, you posed there with the foot up on the rocks, a bit of a hero of the town. We learned that they primarily freed themselves from tyranny. So we'll get there in just a moment. And now I wanted to bring this up again. Here's another picture of the concept art that came. You missed the IG-11 too. Yeah, I know. I just get so focused on other things. Yeah, Mark, I watched that spoiler thing too, and part of it seems quite believable. So if you don't want the spoilers, I would stay away from that video because a lot of it is quite believable. So, but anyway, I wanted to bring this up. So you see in the concept art, the classroom, and let me make this bigger again, and it's got a human teacher. We've got some a little bit older kids. These look to be like teenagers, maybe a high school kind of class. But in the actual, they came in to be more elementary aged. And I thought there were some interesting things I saw pointed out in some other posts online. The first being this girl here, and it may be kind of hard to see, but her hair is in these two ringlets underneath, reminiscent of Leia in the original trilogy. This girl here, her hair kind of braided around and down, also reminiscent of Leia on Hoth. And then I believe they said this girl back here, and again, you just really can't make out the detail here in this screenshot I grabbed, has hair reminiscent of Leia as well. So 1, 2, 3 of the girls here have hair reminiscent from the original trilogy. And of course, I noticed right away this girl in the middle who has the 3 buns similar to Rey from the sequel trilogy. So I thought it was fantastic that they did those callbacks. And this is the kind of nerdiness that we have got to expect from Filoni and Favreau. They're really going in deep into just into the details and making something so little as it's only on the screen for a couple of seconds, and we see like these hairstyles here that are reminiscent of Leia. Let's see, Mike, what do you say? Done recapping. What's a prediction in the next episode, baby? What will the child be eating next? Good point. Good point. Yeah. It says the one between them has buns on the side, so all 4 have Leia hair. Yeah, I couldn't quite make out the buns on the side in this. Oh yeah, right there they are. I see them. Yeah, the buns. So all 4 of them down this row have Leia hair. And yeah, we saw the girl with Rey inspired hair here in the middle. So So there's that. And then I just thought that was fantastic. And again, it just shows exactly how much detail that John Favreau and Dave Filoni are putting into this season. And we even saw callbacks when we had Bryce Dallas Howard do her dad's Apollo 13 movie, The Screen. So there's all kinds of Easter eggs throughout these shows that you can go back and get. So again, really good stuff. Again, the concept art. Gray, hello, welcome. Concept art shows the child there with the cookies. You see it executed in the show. I was fascinated by this boy because he is maybe one of the most prominently featured Native American characters, actors. I noticed his features, and again, that's maybe just me being a little too stereotypical, but this kid does seem to have Native American ancestry, and it was great to see him featured so well in the show, and his little interaction he has back with the child. And to give me these macaroons. Now these macaroons, they carry through the rest of the show, and the child, they've really learned to leverage him for humor. They did it at the beginning when he shocked himself with the wires. They do it again here where he wants the cookies. Super cute, super adorable, and he gets these macaroons and starts munching on them after this kid says nope. Yeah, Gray. Oh, good. Thanks. Yes, this is the last episode was on fire. Exactly. And you have Native American. You are Native, so you dug the representation. Yeah, I've got my brother's girlfriend also has Native American heritage. So I just thought it was fantastic. It was great. So we get the child attending class, and this is, Mando had this comment from the last episode where he said, where the child goes, I go, or where I go, the child goes. And Grief wants to leave him here in the classroom, and Mando kind of pushes back, and Grief says, where we're going, you don't want to take the child, which was the first kind of preview that he had plans that he wanted Din's help with, but he hadn't yet revealed those to Din. So this is where we get, I actually grabbed a screenshot of this young boy. Again, he just looks, his features, his characteristics to look Native American. I love to see him featured in this episode. I thought it was great. And of course, the child, super, super adorable, right? So, and then I did a quick screen grab here. I was watching through, really looking to pay attention to detail. And the kids are on recess. And whoops, let me go back. The children are on recess. And you see a couple of Jawas here. And this girl here, she appears, it's really hard to make out her features, but you see the red skin, black markings. She's got really dark eyes. Look like large dark eyes. That's a species that I think that, and I just took away from it, that we're starting to see more inclusion in the classroom with different races or species included. In Star Wars has been notably kind of, and I saw a lot of people talking about how she looks Ochi. Yeah, I think so. But there's a lot of talk about how the First Order, and prior to that, the Empire is very like racist almost. The way that humans have prominent roles and they treat other species less than. Now, the Rebellion wasn't nearly that, and of course, in the sequels, we see more inclusion as well. But here on Navarro, you're starting to see the kids in class together, and even with the child joining them, that was the case as well. So I thought that was interesting. It's just in this little corner. This is a blown up corner of the screen. They're on recess, and it only lasts for a second. And then we do get our favorite Mithril. And I thought it was interesting that they keep calling him Mithril. That's his species. That's not his name. We still don't know what his name is. They just call him Mithril. And he sees Mando, and here he has a reaction, which I thought was kind of funny, because this gas comes out from his neck, and it just shows this shock value like you might get from any kind of aquatic species that has a defense mechanism to let them escape. He has this reaction when he sees Din Djarin, where this gas comes out. Another humorous moment, but very Star Wars within it, right? It's not a mom joke. It's not a Three Stooges joke. Here it's actual, like, in character, in universe kind of thing that brought some humor. I really enjoyed. And here's, I grabbed this piece because there was some discussion that I had with a magic maker over the weekend, how just how small this planet seems to be, and how time passage seems really quick. And I wanted to bring this up because there's a couple of images here that I pulled out. The first is when Kara's pointing at the planet and says, "This is Navarro," and she points, "This is us." Here, where her finger kind of interacts with the hologram, it lights up. So this is the portion of Navarro where they are. And they've got this green zone area where everything's safe. And then she points at this other area, the red area, and you can see on the bigger map that, and let me take that spoiler tag off because you can see it a little bit better. You can see the distance between where she touches down here in this corner and the dangerous, or the problematic area is very close, right? It's not the other side of the planet. It's just a hop, skip, jump over. So maybe not as bad as I initially thought, because they are relatively close in physical location. It looks like right outside of the town they're on in Navarro, they go right into the canyons, and on the other side is where this rebel base, or not rebel base, empirical base is left. So they make their way in. Again, I grabbed another of the, I included all of the concept art here, and you see the concept art has this Trexler Marauder. Now, Mark and I have talked a lot about the Modified Imperial Troop Transport, ITT, and they actually have a name for this. It's a Trexler Marauder for this modified vehicle. And in the concept art, it does appear to be much more like the troop transport. But when we see it actually flying through, many of the doors have been removed with reinforced embankments where gunner stations exist. So it has been modified. It's no longer just an ITT, as we say. This is a Trexler Marauder, which I will guarantee you will make its way into some merchandise on a Mando-Monday. We'll get to opportunity to get some, I would expect, vintage series, like the vintage collection may release this vehicle, the Trexler Marauder, from the Mandalorian as a specific vehicle for the series. So we get that Trexler Marauder up there. And one thing that Grief Karga had mentioned before was that there was all kinds of opportunity in this base for people to take things out that they could sell. And he didn't care about that. He just wanted it destroyed. He didn't want the profit. He wanted to make Navarro free. And that's really the argument he used to get Din to support them and go with them. They wanted to free the area. Dale, I've always heard speculation Star Wars galaxies smaller than ours would be giants in their world. I've not heard that, Dale. I have heard that the planets are very small, like the size of our moon. is the size of most of their planets, and most of the planets we see in Star Wars are singular biospheres, right? So if it's a desert planet, the whole planet's a desert, or if it's ice world, the whole world's ice, lava, like whatever the case might be, the whole planet seems to be, like one environment, mono kind of situation. So I've not heard that from there. Now I did hear this traveling when it goes so fast from place to place. A Magic Maker did a thing on this, and a lot of people have spent a lot of time trying to figure out distances in Star Wars, and there's so much inconsistency between one place to another that you pretty much learn that even though these are tens or hundreds or thousands of light years, which should take at light speed or some multiple of light speed, some significant time to get from one place to another, that they're able to traverse that in just a very short time. So there's all this about what hyperspace is and how they're able to get from one place to another so quickly. But we also see that at sublight speed, they cover much the same sort of space in similar time. And the best phrase that I've ever heard with Star Wars is that space travel is exactly as long as the story needs it to be. Whether they're going hyperspace or sublight speed, they really just don't pay attention. Star Wars is so inconsistent with that, even from the books, right? So there's that. All right, so let's move on. So they go through here, and I thought this was another funny reference, and I grabbed it only because it says, you see our Mithril say, "There's no guardrail on this." That has been a joke since A New Hope, when Obi-Wan goes around to let down the force field, right? He goes around on that thing, and there's no guardrail. Like, would they actually build these things where the access is on the other side, where you can't see it, and with no guardrail, so that you could just fall off? And it's been that way. We see it in the prequels, the original trilogy, all the way through. And here we actually get the Mithril to call it out. Hey, there's no guardrail on this. And he's looking down into lava, of course. But that's been the case. Safety has not been a primary concern with the Empire. In fact, I haven't seen a lot of safety concern throughout the universe in any event. So I was entertained by that quite a bit. And so I wanted to bring that up. Let's see. Mando definitely has a lot of fan service. Oh, it's a lot of Easter eggs. There's just tons and tons of Easter eggs. Mark, the Trexler Marauder seems like a variation of the ITT. Yeah, it does seem like it, but it seems like a specific modification of it, right? And the one in episode 4 was more of an artillery support vehicle, armored cannons. Yeah, I think so. I think it's a particular variation of it because it's certainly named. And so now you're going to have to get a Trexler Marauder. So there's that. Let's move on through. Here, I did pull this up and save it so that you could see. It says, hurry up, purge the drives. Once the alarms went off and they knew that there had been some sort of infiltration into the base, they immediately started to purge the drives, destroy the equipment so that whoever was there could not get access to the information. And so we see that carried out. And this is one of the things that made the internet over the weekend. Again, these are people just going really into detail and looking for things. You see over in the corner, again, it's really hard to make out here because it's so dark, but you can see this guy standing here. He looks just like that. So the wall is a cutaway. You see, he was nicknamed, I saw for a little while, not just the Gene Guy, he's the Gene Trooper. We have all these different kinds of troopers. They nicknamed him the Gene Trooper, and he's hiding here behind the wall with his watch, the green shirt. You can guarantee that this will make it into all kinds of Star Wars gatherings for years and years and years to come. Tons of fun. And compare this, I saw a lot of people talking about, compare this back to Game of Thrones when they started making mistakes. for sloppiness. I don't think this was necessarily sloppiness. They just missed it. And if you just frame the scene a little bit differently, the guy isn't visible. Of course, if he would had not been standing there watching the action, he wouldn't have got caught either. And maybe they took a practice, one of the rehearsal scenes, and actually used it in the final cut, and that's how it got in there. Who knows? But this was a lot of fun, and I've seen most people aren't really bent out of shape about it. They're just pointing it out that, hey, this was fantastic. Tons and tons of fun. And then again, from the concept art, they showed these containers with the different types of people in it, and they look like different species even that are floating in these tanks. And as well, you see some creases there. I have seen some detailed things that make it appear differently. And I saw Josh Lucas this morning said that if you don't think that it's Snoke, then you're wrong. I think it could have been a predecessor to Snoke. I don't think any of these are Snoke or even the biological material that becomes Snoke. It could be, but I don't think any of these guys actually are Snoke himself. And plus, this facility gets destroyed, and you could presume that these are destroyed with it. So, Mark, yeah, TV's off a little bit from the internet. Yeah, as far as the timing, right? Oh, okay, I'm buffering a little. Okay, sorry about that. We'll try to slow down just a little bit. Gene's guy is Snoke. Yeah, none of these are specifically Snoke. I agree. So we get past this scene, and I went and got this entire dialogue here we get from Dr. Pershing, because there's a lot to be unpacked from this, and it's worth, I think, taking a look at his entire dialogue. And you see Pershing's, it starts in the middle of some comment where he says something to the effect of, okay, we're back to fine. Okay, good. No buffering. Okay, good. Yeah, it's the process that ends up making Snoke. Yeah, they're experimenting, right? They're trying to figure it out. So, and here's where we see it. He starts in the middle of some paragraph, and he says, they replicated the results of the subsequent trials, which also resulted in catastrophic failure. And from the sequels, we learned that Palpatine had been trying to create another clone, but he had a lot of failed clone attempts, and that they were resulting in failure. The last one resulted in catastrophic failure, and they said there were promising effects for an entire fortnight. And what we see is they're taking blood that is very high in midichlorian count and then injecting it into somebody and seeing if they will get force sensitivity. And the goal is then for them to have the force sensitivity. And if you haven't watched, there's some videos out there that you can find. The idea behind midichlorians is very similar to mitochondria that's within our cell and our DNA, mitochondria and midichlorians. And the idea was that if you had a very high midichlorian count, be like somebody who had a very high mitochondria count who's athletically gifted. Somebody who trains and becomes more athletically adept has higher mitochondria count than somebody who is a couch potato, for example. And so if you were to take somebody and inject high midichlorian count, you might result in some force sensitivity for a while. And they're finding out that, okay, for a fortnight, there were some promising effects. So it does seem that the effects were effective for a while, but then the body rejected the blood. Now you've got different species, different blood types, right? You've got A positive, A negative, O positive, B, so AB negative, right? Within humans, we have different blood types, and they're not all compatible. And they're finding out the case here as well, that the body rejected the blood. And he says, I highly doubt we'll find another donor with a higher M count. I recommend that we suspend all experimentation. I fear the volunteer will meet the same regrettable fate. So they have another volunteer on, like, in the works. And maybe this volunteer could be Gideon himself, right? He wants to be injected. Think of it as, I thought of it like the Hulk, right? Where you've got somebody, they say, oh, we think we could reproduce this and create, other Hulk beings that we could use in the military, or with Captain America, or even Wolverine, where they say, oh, if we were to take these things and put it into another, we could create another super soldier. And I think that was sort of the idea here as well. And Mark, I saw it, just said, this is funny. He said, if you look real closely in The Last Jedi, you see that the green shirt under Snoke's gold robes, right? Gene's guy is Snoke. I love that. That's hilarious. Darth is sort of like the Darth Jar Jar figure. That's fantastic. And what's this? I can't remember Ross's last name, but he played Snoke and Wookiee and Solo. I'm not coming up with that right now either. Great. I think Snoke was a cloning process, and he looks to deform because they tried to add the M count blood. But you got different species blood, right? And they're trying to mix it. And so they've got this volunteer. It says, I fear the volunteer will meet the same regrettable fate, which appears to, when they say catastrophic failure, it appears the fate is death. And could be that those floating in those tanks are failed experiments that died, and now they're preserving the bodies in Bacta or something like that, so that they can continue to experiment and look into it. If we proceed with the transfusion, unfortunately, we've exhausted our initial supply of blood, and the child is small, and I was only able to harvest a limited amount without killing him. If these experiments are to continue as requested, we would again require access to the donor or the asset. All right. I would not disappoint you again, Moff Gideon. So I go back to speculation I had last year from season 1. It does appear that there are Moff Gideon wants the child, the asset, alive. If you're going to harvest blood from it, and you need to keep conducting experiments over time, you need the asset, right? The donor to recreate blood cells that can be used over and over again. Where if you kill the asset by draining the blood or taking it dead and then drawing the blood from it, it can't reproduce more blood to keep testing, unless you're going to keep trying to artificially create blood using some sort of replication process. So Moff Gideon, and I believe Dr. Pershing here, wanted the asset, the child, alive. And when we go back to IG-11, we see IG-11 was specifically told they wanted it dead. I think we had 2 different factions here after the child, and we still don't know what that other faction was or why that they wanted it dead. If that was a group that was trying to prevent the Emperor's plan, or Gideon's plan, Dr. Pershing's plan, if they have 2 opposing factions, one trying to block the other, that could be the case. So I still think that's the case, and I don't think that we've seen it addressed very frequently on other YouTube or speculation sites. So I bring that up just to remind you all that I think there's something else. Another interesting point is from the previews when we saw this in the trailer. Din Djarin says, "Here we go," and there was Josh even spent some time talking about, well, who's the we? And in the actual show, when it happened, there was no "here we go." That was voiceover that was either added for the trailer that was never intended to be used, or during some editing process was removed. So again, you can't always trust what you see in a trailer is going to be what you get. We see that with Marvel a lot. And with Favreau's involvement here, it's not surprising at all that they might change something in a trailer specifically to mislead somebody. And there's, again, you see the concept art. I thought this was great. So look at the expressions on Grief Karga and the Mithril compared to Cara Dune, right? She's calm, cool. They're going off the cliff here. and those Grief and the Mithril are in terror. I thought this was great. Great directing, great acting, and again, just the quality that goes into these shows is amazing. And I captured this just for that point as well. The quality, the special effects are absolutely incredible for a live action series that we're getting annual reviews. And I've seen some criticism about these serial type story. And I don't want to go too far off track because we still got a ways to go. But look, I love it. And I think that this is fantastic. Yeah, we'll have a nice soft landing on those speeders, right? Except if you run into a boulder on the way down. Oh, some of them didn't make soft landings at all. Again, concept art compared to the actual show. Fantastic stuff here. At this point, the base is exploding, and we get 3 TIE fighters, actually 4 TIE fighters escape, and they start the speed chase on the speeder bikes, and then followed up with the TIE fighters. And the Grief Karga is able to take 1 TIE fighter out. Just as they come out of the canyon, Din Djarin is able to take another TIE fighter out with the Razor Crest that has been repaired. You see, it's nice and shiny. It's whole, and he takes out one of the TIE fighters, and you get a space chase here. And he tells the child, "Hold on!" And this was, again, the child used for humor again. In the background during the whole time, I was watching the roller coaster ride that the child was going on. It was hilarious. He's still chomping on those cookies too. Yeah, nice transition from speeder bikes. Yes. Trev, there you are. Trev has been one of our critics of the season. And I didn't want to talk about him, but here he is. The special effects have been fine. The story and plot haven't been as good, but don't want to take me sidetracked. If we get time, Trev, I'll come back to it, because I've seen your comments, and I've been in some discussions on other Discord groups with folks that really took to task this season and where the story is going. So let's get through. Oh, you've been here the whole time. Nice. So the child has this reaction from all that zero-G movement, and spits up a little there. I also took another screenshot. We see both TIE fighters here. So apparently, not only do we get the new Republic guy that we see in the episode, but Wolf is there as well. And again, for concept art compared to what we get in the show, really good, really good. And I wanted to bring this up. So we see Cara Dune, again, concept art. Cara Dune's throwing biscuits down to our fire-breathing squirrel. Again, I don't know if it breathes fire, but in the concept art it did. And I wanted to bring up this because I think this belongs in the discussion. He leaves down this badge. So she's a marshal, and she lays down. He leaves this badge for her, and she looks at it, and she leaves it sitting there. But look at the Funko Pop stuff. The Funko Pop has her wearing this badge, and I saw some folks talking about this. Is she going to actually start wearing the badge as a representative of the New Republic, as a official marshal of that town there on Navarro? And I think that might be the case. I had been speculating that I thought she was going to join the Night Owls, but at this point, I'm starting to question myself. I'm starting to doubt it, because it looks like here she's going to accept this role as a marshal, and this is where she gets the badge. And then we see it in the Funko Pops. And I think that we're very likely to see her decide to stay at Navarro as a marshal. Here we get another ship. It enters the scene much like we get in episode 4, New Hope. and you get this nice follow-up scene. Here's another model. I can already see it coming. These came from the prequel era as well, so these aren't brand new. But being that we see it here and that it's Moff Gideon's transport, we're going to get that. Dale misleading it, maybe. It could be. Might she take on the role temporarily? Good questions. Really good questions. And then we get on board the ship. Again, concept art in the background. It says, so our character from the beginning says the device has been planted as she requested. We see our this female Imperial officer come and report to Gideon the same. And in the background, we get these dark dark troopers, and that's been confirmed through the audio descriptive text that these are dark troopers, and of course those come from the game Dark Empire, and then throughout others. There's been a lot of great videos, like on Star Wars Explained, Star Wars Theory, Eckhart's Ladder. A lot of folks have done videos about these dark troopers, where they come from, in different models. There at least 3 or 4. There was Generation Zero, which were part cyborg that had human and robot components, and then there's a Generation 1, 2, and 3 that are all robot. And which generation are these? Are these any of those generations, or are they their own kind of borrowed from the EU and brought in? Or are we going to canonize EU from those games and make one of them actually in the Mandalorian? And that's the question. So I went ahead and kind of augmented this a little bit, right? I didn't do any special manipulation. I just kind of grabbed it and then enlarged, and you can see these characters on the side. They do have tubes coming between the armor plates, and they're quite tall. So I think one of the versions of the Dark Troopers are about 7 feet tall, and that would appear to be the case here as well. And then I took one of the left-facing ones, so maybe you could catch some of the detail there, and one facing right, one facing left, and see some of that detail coming off them, their fingers and all of that. Trev, yeah, I think they might be phase 2 here. I think that's absolutely. Oh, and there you go with the metric, 2.83 meters. Yeah. So yeah, I think that we're looking at probably phase 2. The phase 1 were smaller, more ninja-like, if you will, and these appear to be more of that phase 2 type. If you look at, again, go back and watch some of those other videos. Trev thinks they could be Exo-6. I don't think so, Trev, because again, that audio descriptive text specifically calls them dark troopers, and that has some meaning. So yeah, are they covered in Beskar? We know that the Empire has been collecting Beskar, and if they're covered by Beskar, that's going to make them extremely resilient. It's going to make this battle coming up quite difficult, right? Because they're going to be very difficult to defeat. One thing I've learned with Star Wars, anything can happen. There are all kinds of possibilities. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, could they be 10 feet tall and bulletproof, or lightsaber resistant, right? So they may be difficult even for a lightsaber to penetrate. Mark, I've got toys of the phase 1, 2, and 3 Dark Troopers. Oh, that could be very exciting. Put Discord. Okay, good. We can see. Gray says they're droids. Yeah, I think they're droids as well. I think they're going to probably be phase 2. And again, I'm not exactly sure if we're going to canonize the from the video games, or these will be something somewhat different. So I'm just not 100% sure. I do plan on doing a video tomorrow, going into some speculation on the rest of the year, where we are in the series versus where we're headed. We're halfway through exactly, and there's a couple other things I need to get to. So let me get things all set up here. So I wanted to bring up. I've got to remove the. Oh, looks like, okay, looky here. Oh, there we go. I want to bring this up. Again, this fantastic art that's been coming from the show. Moff Gideon, and somebody circled on Discord. Looks like we've got a little bit of the Emperor here. If you look over here, this looks like a stormtrooper in the art. Again, is this going to be, is all of the artwork leading up to a particular Mandalorian that we could see? Not exactly sure. I'm still dubious that we're going to get either Sabine or Ezra this season. I think I'm not very confident of that at all. And then I wanted to go into, we're running out of time, and I really wanted to get to this Mando-Monday stuff. So StarWars.com. And I want to get back to the episode if we have time, but I really don't want to let Mando-Monday pass without talking about the merchandise that's coming available today. Some big releases today that are notable, and I wanted to bring them up here. The featured products for today. First is the Vintage Collection Grief Karga. Now, this has been something a lot of us have been waiting for. We expected it weeks ago. Here it's still not there. These are released later in the day, and around 4 o'clock. 1 o'clock is when they officially make the announcements, but this stuff came out early. It says 4 p.m. Eastern, the pre-orders begin. You get Hasbro's Vintage Collection Grief Karga, and I'll point out the Vintage Collection Child. Both of these are coming out today. 4 o'clock today. These will be in very high demand. One note about Grief Karga, it is from season 2. You see the medallions on that cape that he has on, the outfit from season 2. There was a lot of discussion about why didn't we get season 1. I think people are generally happy we're getting season 2 Grief Karga. And at this point, that's just artistic rendering of it. We haven't actually seen the figure. Where the child here, we do get that in the pram. This is different than the one we're getting from HasLab. A couple of notable differences here is the pram is going to be molded of plastic. The HasLab one is metal. And we also, the child here, the ears are drooping. It's more of a downward face. Like concern, and in the HasLab one, the ears are up, he's smiling. So a lot of bit of differences between these two characters, and then we've got a Columbia jacket. Here's a Mandalorian. This is augmented reality experience. So it's a game much like the old what is that? Where you go and find the characters, the Pikachu and all of those kind of things, right? This is very much the same. You have this augmented reality game. You use it with Google and Google Maps. Everything's integrated. And you go find characters, things from season 1 of The Mandalorian in the environment you live in. So that augmented reality game is coming out for mobile phones today. There's the Ultimate Visual Guide is being released. This book, we get a Trouble on Tatooine Lego set. The child bunting, right? So for a kid, you get a nice little child thing here. Disney emojis are coming out for the Mando. Here's our heavyweight hoodie. The Art of Star Wars, The Mandalorian Season 1 book. You're going to get that artwork. Our lunchbox is even a thing anymore. Everybody works from home. Kids are taking classes at home. But here's a lunchbox. We get the Black Series Mandalorian electronic helmet. We already had, we saw that before. But I wanted to bring up in Black Series Moff Gideon. This hoodie I thought was great. Let's see if I can get this to open in another window here. Because I did see, this is Bo-Katan and the Night Owls hoodie, $55. So you can get your Night Owls hoodie. I thought that was great. There's the artwork on it, fantastic. I love Bo-Katan and the Night Owls. Here's a nice shirt to adjust. This is the way, like paint on the back. Grief Karga. Really featured. Wherever I go, he goes. 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. This game, I looked at this game. This is a lot of fun here. Well, you jump the frogs through the child's mouth, and you've got two competing sides, right? So the child's there with the mouth open, and then you've got the frog launchers, and you launch them back and forth, and whoever can get all the frogs on the other person's side wins. So it's just to go fast as you can, launching the frogs through. I thought that's fantastic. This game, you can see it on Amazon for $15. That's not too bad. Nice Christmas gift for somebody. And then we get Thomas Kincaid wrapped canvas of the Razor Crest, and these run in I think I saw as low as in the 30s, but to go up over $80 for these wrapped canvases here. If you go on down into the details, here we go, $30 to $60, 6 options, and you see if you get it framed, here's $375 for the Mudhorn. So you're looking at the same sort of thing, $60. Here it is, fully framed, $790. Woo! So there you go, your Thomas Kincaid art collection. So I really wanted to get through the Mando-Monday merchandise, and before we ran out of time, let me get caught back up with the comments and see if we can continue the discussion a little bit more. I've just been on a really high speed trying to get through here. Let's see. Do not think we're going to get Sabine or Ezra Gray. I agree. Dale says nobody does, but it'd be awesome if we did. It would be awesome if we did, Dale. Be a nice surprise. And I posted in the Den of Nerds this morning. I think there's a higher chance of getting a Luke Skywalker cameo towards the end of the season than it is to see Sabine or Ezra. Mark, I so want Ezra and Sabine to appear. Starting to expect it's not happening. Want to be wrong. We'll find out. There will be something to talk about. 2 different prims in season 2. Season 1. Yeah, season 1. Well, we don't have a replacement for the destroyed prim, so there's going to be something else at some point. Sabine is going to be easy to do, even in a non-speaking role. I agree, Trev. Have her in the background with a mask. Go ahead. Silhouette. Oh, the Silhouette Star Wars characters are out. There is a full-size Bo-Katan cardboard silhouette there as well. Let's see. Ezra wears helmets lots too. Yep, they could tease Sabine without a cameo. Yeah, I don't think they've cast anyone, and that's really the key, Mark. I don't think they've cast Sabine or Ezra, and all of that discussion. The trolling. The role was never cast, and I don't think it's been cast yet. And I think it's going to come after we get the animated series, The Search for Ezra Bridger, before we actually do. And there's other talk about some of the spinoff shows with Bo-Katan and such. I do think those are going to come, but they need to set them up first. Mark, even a hint of Sabine with hype. Absolutely. Again, you could just name drop her, and the name drop alone would be enough, I think. Hey, Trinity, welcome. Thanks for joining. My neighbor just bought one of those. Oh, good. I want Cadbury to drop. Or Cadbury, or what's the other eggs that have the toys inside? Oh shoot, there's another one out there that put toys in. So I did want to talk about. We're right at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna try to preview tomorrow's show. So tomorrow I want to do a wrap up of the first half of the season, and a little bit of predictions about the second half of the season. I put a poll out on my Twitter over the weekend if you thought there would be a season 2 trailer, or season 2B, right? The second half of season 2. We've seen all of the stuff from the first trailer already. There's no additional footage in those trailers to play off of. So Do you think that we will get a second half trailer this week, or will we even get one at all? Kinder, that's it. Kinder eggs. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, Kinder is the ones that have the toys inside. So I'm really curious about another trailer. Will they release it in Monday Night Football? We know that Lucasfilm loves to put trailers in Monday Night Football. Might they do it Thanksgiving Day, the day before? So Mando Eve, if you will. Might they put out a trailer during the NFL games Thursday? Will we get it tonight? Will we get it Thursday, somewhere in between? Or will we get it at all? Will there be a second half trailer for the season? Mark says he doesn't think we're going to get another one. I really don't know. I do think that they will eventually. My question, here's what I think, Mark. I think we're going to get something where we see just maybe a silhouette of Ahsoka and the title, right? We've seen the title already leaked, The Jedi, and we think there's also a quite detailed spoiler of the episode outline that's out there. I read through that this morning as well. Some of that stuff is actually believable. So if you don't want that spoiler, I would stay away from it. Stay far away from it. But I do think we might get something that shows a silhouette or a preview of Ahsoka, just like looking, maybe a still, maybe not even a scene from the show, but something that gains that hype for the show coming out, if it even needs any more hype. Yeah, I haven't heard anything else more about Ezra. There is some news that came out regarding the Bad Batch series. The Bo-Katan is going to be featured in the Bad Batch series, that animated series coming out next summer. So that's coming. The rumors of the Rebels follow-up Search for Ezra Bridger season is still out there. It's been really quiet on that front, and there is also some underground kind of rumblings of a third animated series that we have absolutely no details around, that there's a third project in the works in the animation side. I've heard that, and I haven't seen any other information on any of that, to be honest, other than that with the Bad Batch that just came out over the weekend. Yeah, Mark, there was additional footage they shot with Rosario, supposed to be promotional. Could be in a TV spot, absolutely. And Mark, the new Bad Batch series figures have their own line. Box color aren't being added to the existing Clone Wars line. Yeah. So I'm just really curious about what's coming. Again, tomorrow we'll have some more time to do a recap of the first half of the season. We'll address some of the things that I've seen our friend Trev bring up, as well as others. I got into a prolonged discussion on Star Wars Explained with a guy about how flat the season has been and how disappointed he was. Maybe I can link those two together and kind of talk about some of Trev's concerns with the season. And then there's been some other arguments I've had with some folks, and I think it'd be fun to have this, as well as just speculate, where are we going? Where is it going? Again, if you've not watched Paper Moon, I know I'm a broken record on this, but Paper Moon gives you the outline of the show. I know it's a different genre, right? It's a different story, but we also know that just this summer, Jon Favreau told Kathleen Kennedy that was his baseline for the show that he based The Mandalorian off of. And so that was after season 2 had already been shot and they were in post-production. It is absolutely worth your time to get familiar with that story. That story is going to tell you where we're headed. Absolutely believe it. So some of the other speculation that's been out there, I think is primarily baseless, because it doesn't base itself off of the information we were given from Jon Favreau himself. So please do yourself a favor, look up Paper Moon, watch that. You'll get an idea where we're headed as a series. Yeah, I love it. So let's call it here. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to talking to you all again. If you would like an autographed photo of Santa, I have 5x7 or 8x10. Let me know what you would like. I'll sign it, autograph it, send it to you for the holidays. Just need you to shoot me an email. I put it in the chat before. If you send me an email with your physical mailing address, I'll be happy to sign that, personalize it for you, and get it to you. Paper Moon is available to stream on Pluto TV. You can watch it for free with ads. So there you go. Paper Moon is available on Pluto TV. You can download that. You can watch it online. You can watch it on your device. It's in 70s shows, so you got to look for it in the 70s. If you want to pay for it, you can pay for it on Amazon or Hulu. Absolutely, Dale, or even YouTube. Google is also, all of those have where you can rent it, but you can watch it for free on Pluto TV with ads. And then you find it under their 70s content. It's very difficult to navigate in Pluto TV. I don't like their interface at all, but that's where you can find it. You guys have a wonderful day. I hope we've had fun talking today, and I look forward to tomorrow's discussion, a bit of a summary of where we are to this point and where we might be headed for the rest of the season. Until then, you guys have a wonderful day, a blessed day, and Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.